Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about a group of words that often confuse English learners, but they really don't have to. We're talking about relative pronouns. These are words like who, whom, whose, which, that, where, and when. They help us link ideas together more clearly and they make your English sound more fluent and natural. So let's take our time, go through each one, and see how they actually work. A relative pronoun connects two ideas in a sentence. It introduces a clause that gives extra information about a noun. Let's look at a very basic example. That's the girl who won the competition. We're talking about a girl, and then we add some information about her, that she won the competition. The word who helps us make that connection without starting a brand new sentence. Who and whom. Let's begin with who. We use who when we're talking about people and it refers to the subject of the verb. He's the man who fixed my car. She's the friend who invited me. So far, so good. Now, whom is a little trickier. It's also used for people, but it refers to the object of the verb, not the subject. The woman whom I met was very kind. The actor whom everyone admires arrived late. Now, let me be honest here. In everyday spoken English, most people don't use whom. They'll say, the woman I met, the actor everyone admires. Still, it's good to understand it, especially if you're writing formally or reading older or academic texts. One quick tip, try replacing the person with he or him. If him fits, it's whom. If he fits, it's who. Next, whose. Whose shows possession and you can use it for both people and things. She's the student whose essay won the prize. I visited a town whose streets were covered in snow. Yes, even though towns and objects don't technically own things, we still say whose in English. It just sounds more natural than alternatives like the streets of which. Which. Which refers to things or animals, not people. It can add essential or extra information. Example, the book which has a red cover is mine. Here, we're identifying which book we're talking about. I bought a new phone, which I really love. The part after the comma is just giving us more detail. It's not necessary to understand which phone. That comma actually changes the meaning quite a lot. Next is that. That is interesting. You can use it for people or things, but only in defining clauses. In other words, when the information is necessary. He's the chef that works at the new restaurant. I need a bag that fits my laptop. Unlike which, that is never used in non-defining clauses, so you won't see it with a comma. A quick note, in many cases, who and that can both be used with people, especially in speech. She's the woman who or that helped me. Both are acceptable, but some people prefer who for people, especially in formal writing. Where and when. Where refers to places. That's the cafe where we met. I visited the city where my parents were born. You can also say the cafe in which we met. But where sounds much more natural in speech. When refers to time. Do you remember the day when we first met? Again, you might see the day on which we met. But when is easier and more conversational. So, to recap, who is for people, whom is also for people, whose for possession, which for things or animals, that for people or things, Where for places, and when for time. You don't need to memorize every rule perfectly right away, but the more you read and listen to natural English, the more these structures will make sense. Keep an eye out for them in books, podcasts, and films. They're everywhere. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.